Have you ever bought a game with a 90 Metacritic score, played it for a few hours, and bounced off it completely? Not because it was broken, not because it was unfinished, but because something about it just didn't click with you? And then, at some point later, you found a game that reviewed okay or mixed, and it completely took over your life? That experience is incredibly common, and I think it points to a deeper problem with how we talk about games. The standard review format is built around scores and verdicts. A number out of 10, a recommendation or a warning, a final judgment on the quality of the game and how much you should enjoy it. And on the surface, that makes some sense. Scores feel clean, they feel efficient, they feel objective. But the problem is that games aren't completely objectively measurable. A score can only really apply to things that are measurable and consistent. Performance, stability, feature completeness. And those things matter, obviously, but games are rarely just the sum of those parts. What actually defines a game is the experience of playing it over time, how it feels to learn its systems, how it respects or disrespects your time, how much friction it asks you to tolerate, what kind of emotional or cognitive state it puts you in. None of that collapses cleanly into a number. When we assign a score, we flatten wildly different player priorities into a single axis. And in doing so, we quietly pretend that one experience can stand in for everyone else's. And that's where the format starts to break. Most reviews today function more like consumer advice than translation. They answer questions like, is this worth buying? Is this good or bad? Is this better than other games in its genre? But those questions only make sense if we assume players want the same things, and they don't. Some players value mastery, some value atmosphere, some want comfort, others want tension, some enjoy friction, others bounce off it immediately. And of course, everyone values all of these things on a spectrum as well, and more that I didn't even mention. A review score doesn't tell you which of those things a game prioritizes. It just tells you how well the reviewer thought it performed overall, as if that were some universal metric. I don't think that's malicious. I think it's just a format that hasn't kept up with what games have become. Where this becomes a real problem is in how scores shape player behavior. Over time, they have trained people to outsource their taste. Instead of asking, what do I actually enjoy? What kinds of experiences work for me? We start asking, what's the score? Is this considered good? That leads to less curiosity, not more. Games that are strange, slow, niche, or demanding tend to be punished by broad scoring systems. Meanwhile, games that are competent, inoffensive, and familiar are rewarded even if they're forgettable. The result is a discourse that revolves around, is this game good? Instead of the much more interesting question, who is this game for? And that shift matters because it affects what players try, what gets talked about, and eventually, what gets made. This problem is amplified by the fact that games are long. You don't experience a game in 2 hours the way you experience a movie. You live with it, you negotiate with it, you bring your own habits, frustrations, patience level, and expectations into the experience. Two people can play the same game for 30 hours and come away with completely different conclusions, and both can be equally right. That's not a flaw in games. That's the point. And yet our dominant review language treats games as if they're static objects instead of interactive relationships. So what's the alternative? I don't think reviews should try to deliver a final verdict at all. I think they work best when they describe an experience clearly enough that you can decide whether that experience is for you. That means talking less about whether a game is good and more about what kind of player it rewards, what kind of friction it asks you to accept. what it does well for certain tastes, and whether it will absolutely lose others. I think it's more precise and accurate to how we actually experience games. It treats the audience like adults who know themselves, not consumers waiting to be told what to buy. The point of a review isn't to tell you what to play. It's to help you understand yourself a little better as a player. If a review helps you recognize patterns in what you enjoy, what you bounce off of, what frustrates you, and what sticks with you, then it's done its job. Anything beyond that is just noise. I am curious what you think about review scoring, though. Do you think the current system is flawed? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe for more commentary and analysis. Thank you for watching.